Welcome to Talking Dragons, where we're going to talk about Maegor and Prince Aenys.
I prefer the colloquial term anus.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, we got Aenys and Maegor. Dude, when I was recording this chapter, or at least going back and re-listening to it, the mispronunciations are so brutal.
They're so funny.
Well, I was hitting people Maegor, dude. Like,
I mean,
it's bad.
Fuck it. That's how I say it.
Yeah, we got Maegor and Aenys on Balerion.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'm gonna say it. I don't care. That's how I've heard. So,
talking in freaking Portuguese over here. So, King Aegon conquers the Seven Kingdoms, then he decides to blast out a couple children.
Shoot some ropes.
And he has Aenys. By the way, fucking Aenys, dude. I'm so pissed. Fucking, this is so bad. People be fucking complaining about, oh, LXD, it's fucking King Aenys, motherfucker. His name is Aenys, spelled Aenys. I cannot get over this shit.
Fucking, yeah, if you were to give me that just like on a random street and be like, pronounce this, I'd be like, anus.
Well, I mean, Aenys. Aenys. Like, I literally spent like probably a good 5 minutes. I did a double take the first time I saw it written, and I was like, what?
I remember when you were first recording these, you were like asking me passionately, like, does this seem right? And then we just joked around like, yeah, dude, it's King Aenys, bro. George R.R. Martin is a really good writer.
Dude, I totally wouldn't put it past George to just slap one of his characters with the name Aenys, just unironically. So Aegon has his beloved baby boys, Maegor and Aenys, and then just has a goddamn stroke and falls over and bashes his head on the table and dies.
Yeah, isn't that kind of fucked, but also like so real?
It's pretty fitting, right? You're this badass warrior king with dragons and essentially nukes. He just ate too much pork. Didn't get his exercise in his later years, all right? Let this be a lesson to you all. Do your cardio.
Or be like number one King Westeros Aegon, and don't.
Do you think old Aegon was like turning into like a football dad, and he's like Westeros number one, just chugging beer, eating jalapeno poppers like every day?
I don't think so, purely because of the description of when Aenys was born, and he had him in his hands. He like literally cried. He was like, holy fuck, I'm a grandpa.
But he could do that while fat. Being fat does not exclude you from crying.
In fact, it enhances the cry.
When I was fat, I just cried every day. So you have the Chad Maegor versus the Virgin Aenys. Maegor gets a little bit of shit, though. I just said Maegor. God, I'm gonna get fucking roasted.
Like, who cares?
Maegor, honestly, even though he's like a hyper badass and he's doing all the athletics, he's being a Chad, people think he's kind of a bitch because he doesn't get a dragon right away. He's saving himself for marriage.
Kills a horse for it, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
No, bro, he got kicked in the stables by a horse. This is how you know you're raising a mentally stable child, is when he gets kicked, he just murders the animal and slashes the face of the nearest guy. This is the equivalent of him, like, capturing squirrels and, like, keeping them in a box to torture.
Yeah. Call that Targaryen madness.
But Maegor is the quarterback of the football team. He's a Giga Chad, so people just kind of look by it. Meanwhile, Aenys is in the basement playing the flute with his weird theater friends,
but also getting like a lot of pussy through the flute too.
Do you think Aenys got a lot of tail in his younger days?
He was described as like handsome when he was like a teenager. Yeah,
and he was a singer. Apparently, he had a phenomenal voice,
a really good singing voice. So yeah, I think like he had the moves. Like, sure, he wasn't at the battles and stuff like that, like Meagor.
Meagor.
But yeah, I think he got around. He got around King's Landing for sure.
It really goes to show that the only ways that you can be successful, aside from obviously like being literal royalty, you gotta either be able to sing or be a Chad athlete. And Aenys was playing to his strong suits, knowing he has a weak, frail constitution. Apparently my boy could belt. Do you think he just like really annoyingly sang like what's that one Queen song? Bohemian Rhapsody over and over again.
Fucking Old Town Rhapsody.
What if Aenys only sung NWA? Like Aegon's like, you can't say that. That's the Ironborn's word. God, we already have to cut out two of the best jokes.
What's the matter, Grandpa? It's my music. That's probably why Aegon had the stroke in the first place. He wanted to get away from the singing, and then it was like, finally, I got away from the singing. And then his wife's there, Visenya. He's like, holy fuck, and then has strokes out and dies.
But I mean, Aenys did have a bunch of kids.
Oh yeah,
like, and that's what really kind of irked Maegor in the beginning, was he just kept having kids.
Yeah, that seed, bro.
But because Aenys kept having kids, it kept knocking him down the totem pole in terms of who was next in line for succession. So Maegor's over here just firing blanks after he got married to Cersei Hightower, which, by the way,
come on,
George needs to name his characters different goddamn things.
That one he probably was in a crunch like,
I was like, Cersei? Oh, I've never heard that one before. Do you also, as long as we're on the subject, I suppose Aegon is literally like the equivalent of Nick or Zack to the Targaryens, because goddamn is everyone named Aegon after this. There's probably at least like 8 Aegons before Aegon II actually like comes into play. I guess that just goes to show if you're named Aegon, your chances of making it to old age
really slim.
They're rough.
Super slim. But yeah, he has Viserys, Jaehaerys, and Alysanne.
Yeah, he has Rhea and Aegon as well, so he's just getting after your boy is getting after it.
And this is where the incest really starts to pick up too. Hell, and the faith faith don't like that at all,
bro. When you said that, I just imagined you were implying that Viserys and Aegon were like gangly ass 3-limbed weird children. Damn, a lot happens in this chapter though. So Aenys and Maegor really established themselves as like two separate people, and Maegor, after Aegon has his stroke, a couple rebellions start cropping up, and because Aenys is too busy shredding the flute in his basement, Maegor actually has to go and take care of the rebellions, so he goes out and just starts slicing and dicing. And when he gets back, Aenys gives him
Dark Sister.
Yeah, that one.
He has both either way after the ceremony.
Well, because Maegor got Dark Sister originally, and then Aenys gave him Blackfire so he could dual wield.
He can Skyrim build dual wield swords.
You've got the one-handed builds.
It's really cool, that scene, because like you could tell that Maegor just did a huge favor for Aenys's kingdom, really. And you know, Maegor, in the show of respect, he kneels down, and Aenys says, "Brother, you don't have to kneel to no one. My brother in Christ."
My brother. Aenys looks at Maegor and goes, "My brother in Christ, on God, for real, for real." I just like to imagine Maegor standing there just like soaked in blood and all fucked up and like battle scars, just completely blank faced, while Aenys is just like, "Verily, my brother."
Has the full
Maegor is just like, "I've killed so many people."
Aenys just has like the full on pimp coat, the big ass hat with the cane, the rangs.
Bro, honestly, his outfit is not that far off from what you just described.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, peep in the Discord what Aenys looks like.
It's really good. Dude, look how pimpin' he is.
Yeah, so people start rebelling when Aegon dies, and
yeah, that's right.
Aenys is just like, but why can't we just be friends? I just want to be friends. Yeah, and then it's not the Iron Man, but Lodos, the drowned god, his representative, just strolling out of the ocean like, time to go conquer Westeros.
And there's fucking Red Harren, another kind of like recurring character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's supposedly he's his son or whatever. He's Harren the Black's son or heir or whatever. Do you think every member of the Harren line just picks a different color?
I am Harren the Pink.
I am Harren the Puce.
I bring my brother Harren the Carmine.
It is I, Amaranth Harren.
And my son, Harren the Cyan.
And the most devilish, evil, malevolent lord of all, Lavender Harren. Bro, not gonna lie, I just Google searched obscure colors. Apparently there's a color named Falu Feldgrau. The most uncommon color. Blue, you're lying. I'm getting wildly off. Today on Talking Dragons, we're going to go over color theory.
I mean, we can go into color theory on Aenys's drip here. To be honest, I can totally understand why Aenys gave him like any boon, but man, does it bite him in the ass pretty bad. Because
this is like a field day for Maegor. He's just running around murdering motherfuckers, though. I mean, that's all he wants, right?
Yeah. He's making a name for himself.
God, how awful would it be if you were Maegor and you were just in a time period that there was zero war? Just like fucking bashing your head against the wall.
Aenys would be assassinated by Maegor in a second, dude. If that were to happen. He'd be like, all your children, huh? Nope.
Just years of pent-up aggression. That's how I feel. Maegor's story is really a good look at the plight of the modern man.
Yeah, but at least Maegor gets pussy. Unlike some modern men.
Maegor gets pussy, but he just fires blanks.
Yeah, his seed is filled with worms.
Hey man, don't say that, man. Don't throw shade. Why you gotta talk bad about my boy Maegor like that?
Just because it's such a...
He's got the nasty nut.
We'll get there, but like, it's such a funny description. Like, again, Grandmaster Gildian just in that like darkly lit chamber with the candle. It's just like his seed was filled with worms.
He's got motherfucker had wormy ass seeds. I mean, he was good at fighting, but like motherfucker had like worm
it's
nut.
So funny that like as soon as he marries Cersei, at the consummation, it said he like basically had sex with her 13 times, and he's like, I made a son for House Targaryen tonight, and it's like, LOL, no.
Was that Maegor?
That was Maegor, yeah.
Damn. Yeah. You thought. I thought that was somebody else. I must have gotten my shit backwards, but Maegor is just 13 times. So Maegor busts 13 times. My man, infinite stamina, but he just keeps blasting and just getting angrier and angrier as Aenys keeps having kids. Maegor's just like my flowery bitch fucking brother who just keeps having kids. I fuck so much.
Like, I'm sorry, my seed is just too good.
Do you think the problem is Maegor just like fires bullets so hard? It's just like, it basically gives like a concussion to the ovaries of Cersei and just can't handle it.
It just heats up that it just cooks them alive.
Blood of the dragon, as they say.
And as they say, the blood of the dragon must remain
Nut
pure.
of the dragon. Fire and cum.
But yeah, the Faith doesn't really like all this intermarriage now, does it, Calvin?
They don't have a problem with it yet, though, because it's not until Aenys what does he do? He tries to marry his kids, but I think before that, Maegor fucking is like, my wife, bitch empty,
My wife.
eat, and my wife. So Maegor keeps firing blanks into his wife. So he goes and finds another wife. What was this one's name? I forget what was the name. I have all these goddamn notes, and I'm just like, good fortune.
Oh, Alyssa
Hightower. That's it.
and
but this is kind of where the animosity with the Faith really starts picking up, because after Maegor basically says that the Faith can rule lesser men, but Targaryens are above the rules of the Faith. That already has the High Septim kind of irked, and so when Aenys tries to marry, I believe it was Rhaena and Aegon, then the Faith really, really starts to condemn them and basically say that Aenys is an abomination, and this marriage is trash, your fit is trash, you're trash, and because Aenys is a bitch, he doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah, he kind of just leaves it up in the air, and then they start like wreaking havoc. No, the poor fellows and the warrior sons.
This is how you know you have a good ass mom, though, is when Visenya's all like, "Motherfucker, I will go and kill them for you. Let me go nuke Old Town." That bitch is looking out for her son, dude.
And he's like, "No, half mother, no."
No, we can't do it. I have a flute concert there.
Fuck, man. That's so, like, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just really...
I thought that was gonna be your only statement. You were gonna go, "Fuck, man, that's so, like..." And then just stop talking.
I'm just looking at my notes and I'm like, this just means nothing.
Your notes are just like, dragon, king, Westeros. Man, fuck the notes, dude. We're doing it live. Right. So essentially afterwards, Aenys is so stressed out by the Faith, like, hating him, he just, like, shits himself and dies.
Fuck, that is right. Yeah.
It's just him, like, sitting in a room, like, sweating, like, "They don't like me."
Yeah, it's described that he's, like, 30, but he looks like 60. So I honestly think that it's a mixture of stress and probably stomach cancer, because you're right, he does basically shit himself and dies.
I don't think stomach cancer. I was just completely baseless. He just falls over.
He totally shits himself and dies.
Can we make a canon that Aenys dies of dysentery?
Yeah, we can. We could just start spreading that misinformation.
Aenys gets retconned. Yeah, we can just grow this platform as a means to spread misinformation about the Westerosi government.
We should really just, like, go to a panel where George is at and ask, like, how did Aenys Targaryen actually die?
How much did he shit before he died? Damn, bro. We need fucking... The true answers can only be answered by Dick Bean, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking Dick Bean. Let's talk about Dick Bean for a minute.
Can we talk about the spin-off, the 800-page spin-off series about Dick Bean and the adventures of Dick Bean?
So Maegor shows up with his 3 wives, right? With with his mom.
Oh yeah,
his 2 wives and his mom.
Bro, we're skipping around too. Do we even go over the fact that Maegor got exiled?
No, we didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, hold on. Let's back it up, backing it up. So, after Maegor is just trying to just tear some punani, wouldn't it be funny if Maegor didn't actually care about, like, having a child, and he was just like, "Man, this pussy old as fuck."
I was thinking he just trying to one up his brother. That's it.
This shit beat as fuck. He's like, "You got 1 wife? Well, I got 2 wives." No, he doesn't even, like, stay with Cersei. But yeah, so Aenys gets pissed that Maegor didn't stay loyal to Cersei because either something was going wrong and they couldn't have kids. So Aegon basically is like, "Are dead, who's Aegon?"
Shit, man, who's Aegon again?
Who's Aegon again? This is a problem when all of your characters have AE in their name. It's way too easy to get them mixed up.
So Aenys banishes Maegor,
which is a weirdly, like, out of character thing for him to do, because everything else he's a gigantic weenie.
Yeah, it's like the first time he has a spine is when he goes against his brother.
I think the overarching theme of Aenys's character is that he's only has any amount of balls when it plays against him horrifically. So Maegor gets banned from the server. He can't play Minecraft anymore because he broke the rules. Yeah, he had too many Discord wives. And after Aenys dies, he comes back to claim the throne, which isn't his to claim because technically, through the laws of succession that are understood at the time, it should go to Aegon after him. But Aegon's still, like, pretty young at this point, and a lot of people in the kingdom basically already thought Maegor should have been king anyways.
Yeah.
The Faith's already so opposed to the Targaryen rule at this point that Maegor really is, like, the only character who can kind of come in and settle things down. Like, I feel like even if Maegor was out of the equation and Aegon was rather put in place. I'm not sure if they could necessarily deal with an all-out war with the Faith like appropriately. I mean, like, they do have dragons, so there is that, but definitely would have been rough.
I think a lot of rebellions would have spread it out from that, if you think about it, because that's a very highly populated area with civilians, and not to mention you're literally nuking their local religion.
Yeah, I definitely think if Maegor wasn't there, I bet you even more of the other lords would have gone over to the side of the Faith to try and like all the ones that got stomped in the initial rebellions may have joined their forces with the Faith as well, and it just would have been a much bigger headache. But yeah, Maegor comes back and kind of really just like wrenches control of the whole kingdom for his own so that he can become and insert himself as king.
He literally goes up to like a crowd of people in King's Landing and says like, I am King Maegor. Any who oppose me, come stand now. And who shows up other than a warrior son? I forget his name. We're gonna call him. Do you remember his name?
Are you trying to set me up for Dick Bean here?
Well, first there's the warrior son, and then the warrior son pretty much calls out Maegor as like a challenge to the Faith, right? So they need 7 champions. And that's where we get
Dick Bean shaming us all. Yeah, the fucking
good setup. By the way.
The warrior son's all like, 1v1 me, Maegor, you a bitch. And then he's all like, but what about 7? So initially everyone's afraid to stand with Maegor. And then the absolute Giga Chad, Dick Bean, is the first guy who's all like, all my fucking king's men, all fought for the king.
Yeah, fucking.
Which is funny too, because he just gets, so you have the 7 of the Faith militant, and you have Maegor and his 7 supporters.
One being really fat.
One being really fat.
He's like, I'm a king's man too.
Gosh, eating pie. So Dick Bean gets like bodied immediately, which is the funniest shit. Because he's just like, oh dude, and then just immediately gets chopped in half. Dude, when I first read Dick Bean, I was just like,
you done it again,
George, you sly dog. We all need a guy like Dick Bean in our lives, let's be honest.
To really go up against this bean shames us all. You know, people out there.
But he was ride or die, and he definitely rode and died. He did all of the above.
All of it in the span of like 5 minutes.
And then they have like, well, you know, who knows? Some people say that the battle between the 7 stars and Maegor's retinue lasted like a day and a half or something crazy like that. But either way,
but we all know Dick Bean just got annihilated.
Wouldn't it be funny if Dick Bean was like carried the whole fight? just like he turns into like a freaking,
he starts Super Saiyan transforming in the middle of the crowd.
Dick Bean was just Goku in disguise.
Fucking like
he power levels and just kicks the priests in half.
Yeah, he fucking kicks that lead warrior son dude shit into like smithereens, and he's like, "You're not even trying."
They do Maegor and what's his name? Not Bean. Maegor and whoever the warrior son guy was, they get a fucking double knockout on each other though, right? So after the Chad, Dick Bean, and all the other followers die, Maegor and the other guy he's fighting literally like hit each other in unison. But because Maegor is like just barely hanging on by a thread.
He had that training of getting kicked in the head in the child by a horse.
Yeah, it's the horse coming full circle. I know this. Gets fucking skull caved in. But, so he recovers, and this is funny too, because like there's certain people in the Faith who are all like, he did win, do we just like give up? The gods made him win. Maegor eventually recovers, and then he just really just starts going on a kill streak to build up his kill streak so he can tack nuke Old Town.
He puts out a couple of bounties, right? What is it, like a dragon crown for each like priest?
Oh, that comes later.
Fuck. too far ahead.
Yeah. It's he essentially just starts going around killing a bunch of the cities that are loyal to the faith and against the Targaryen rule. So he keeps doing that, and it keeps building up to this eventual fight that they're going to have at Old Town, which, by the way, when Aenys was still ruling, they took King's Landing, so he goes and takes that right the hell back. But the High Septum is still in Old Town, so they're preparing for the inevitable invasion of Old Town, and they're setting up, sandbags and, scorpion throwers to try and deal with the dragon. And when the dragons eventually do get to Old Town, the High Priest is just dead. Mm-hmm. Like, he just either died in his sleep, or some people say he was assassinated, which is kind of cool. Let's dive into this. What do you think actually happened to the High Septum? Because he was renowned as a man of strength who would, preach throughout the whole night without taking a break, with the exception of, getting water.
Man, I actually don't know. I want to say assassinated, just because we've seen just how kind of, fucked up shit can get with magic. Because Maegor does have his, other wife from Pentos.
I just imagine Tiana of the Tower as Elvira in my head.
Definitely.
Every time. He does have her, but honestly, I don't think that he would have her assassinated, he would have her assassinate the High Septum. I think he would just want to go in and kill him himself. If the High Septum was assassinated, I think most likely it would be somebody on his side, air quotes.
We do see Tiana act on her own free will later in the chapter. I won't get too far ahead. So is it too far a stretch of mind that she go out of her own way to be all well, shit, I'm here now, might as well try and make a situation for myself and assassinate?
I'm not sure Maegor was even married to Tiana of the Tower just yet, because the second wife he takes, isn't it
it's Alyssa.
So I don't think Tiana's necessarily even in the picture yet.
Well, either way, she is the mistress of whispers, so she knows stuff Maegor doesn't.
It's true. I just think that most likely the person with the most motivation to kill the High Septum would be somebody who doesn't want Old Town to get fucking torched. I don't really see Tiana benefiting at all from that. I would have to assume that somebody in the faith was listen, the faith is going to become annihilated and Old Town is going to burn if we don't stop this. So in my mind, the most likely possibility is that either somebody in the Hightower family or in the faith directly would have had the High Septum assassinated, because they're really the people who stand to benefit from the most, right? The Hightowers, they live in Old Town. That's basically the center of their wealth and power. And then obviously the other members of the faith, that's their holy citadel. So if I had to take a guess, someone in the faith had the High Septum killed.
Or, hear me out, the Grand Septum, right? He found out that dragons were fake. And then he had a heart attack because the truth was just too much for him. He had a heart attack and died.
He listened to the first episode of the podcast and was like, "What?"
He couldn't even fathom. But
you don't think there was one of these Maegor did nothing wrong types who just hated the High Septum?
Nah, dude. There's definitely some citizens in Westeros that are Maegor did nothing wrong.
Dude, that's why hold on, so real quick, as long as we're on the subject. So apparently, Maegor is obviously, as we'll get into later in the chapter, does some questionable things. A really cool guy, as it were. So I ran a poll. Apparently, 36% of, now given only 33 people voted on this poll, but 36% of people don't think that Maegor the Cruel was a bad king. Which is higher than I was expecting, because Maegor does some seriously messed up stuff. And it's nothing that we've really covered yet is too out of the realm of something that could be expected of reasonable responses given his situation. But I made a fun little tally of the amount of war crimes that Maegor commits, and I have it right at about 6 or 7, so it's pretty up there. And those are just the ones that actually got recorded. And not necessarily individual instances, just the broad strokes of the genres of war crimes he committed.
It's quite a bit.
The 7 different flavors of disrupting the Geneva Conventions.
So yeah, Maegor gets rule, right? Oh, go. No, okay.
I would say, well, suppose we'll cover this towards the end, but yeah, we'll kind of go over whether or not Maegor did anything wrong. Pay out the believers. Maegor didn't do anything wrong.
+2.
+2's in chat. Maegor's a good guy. +2.
Fucking when the grandson died and Maegor woke up that morning, he's like, "Yo, can we get +2s in chat, please?"
Pay out the believers.
Pay out the believers.
Meagor just wakes up. Visenia's just like, the High Septum's dead, and he's just like, nice. Sick. So after the old town is, I guess, subdued because the High Septum is killed, essentially at this point, Maegor disbands the Stars and Swords, and this is where the bounty comes in. He offers a silver stag for any poor fellow that's killed, and then a golden coin for the head of any warrior son. So he's essentially completely eliminating the Faith's ability to even raise an army and going out of his way to kill any of the remaining army. Dude, wouldn't that be kind of sick if we lived in a society where you could just go and fucking murder people and get money for it? What a cool place, Westeros.
I mean, we do live in that kind of society.
What do you mean?
Literally go to a third world country. There's probably bounties somewhere.
Maybe your society.
It's not my. It's not my fault. I live in fucking Dorne over here.
Maegor strikes me as the kind of guy who watches the Joker and like really sympathizes with it.
Oh yeah, he's a total like.
No, that's more Aenys. I feel like Aenys.
Oh yeah, Aenys would totally He'd be like, I totally relate to this character.
Aenys in another life, he all goes and does stand-up comedy and does poorly.
Well, it's a good thing he had his singing and good looks to make up for it, but he was still like just as autistic as Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
I don't know why. I'm just imagining Aenys as like various like 80s singers now. Like, I don't know why. I was just like
he's like Eddie Van Halen.
Who's the Queen guy?
He's fucking Freddie Mercury. Aenys is Freddie Mercury.
Eddie Van Halen. This is Freddie Mercury. It is. I don't know, man. It kind of fucks with the exception of the hair. I don't know. Eddie Van Halen, the hair works, but I feel like Eddie Van Halen's too cool to be Aenys.
What about Sam Hagar from the same band?
Who's Sam Hagar?
He's the singer of Van Halen. In the later years.
Yeah, but they're all anyone in Van Halen is sick. Aenys was a fucking weevil.
Oh, dude, could you imagine showing Van Halen to like Westeros?
Bro, 100%. The Faith would be all like, "This is the devil's music.
Now come and jump."
Wouldn't it be funny if like just Aenys just had an electric guitar and like he just never mentioned? He just shreds like.
That's why Maegor was so mad. He would shred into the night, and fucking Maegor, being his brother, would just be like, "Oh, shut up."
This is actually propaganda because Maegor controlled this is fake news from Maegor. Maegor became the king, and then he had a smear campaign written on Aenys calling him a pussy, when Maegor wasn't actually impotent, he just had no bitches. Ooh. And he then wrote the smear campaign because Aenys was crushing so much punani. He was all like, he was a weenie, he couldn't fight, he was dumb.
Damn. Westeros theory here.
We're unraveling it, bro. I've been in George R.R. Martin's writing pit.
Yeah, you got the chops, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. George R.R. Martin has a dungeon he shackles himself in to write.
Just in a gimp mask and nothing but tidy whities. He's like,
George R.R. Martin can't write correctly unless he's in full gimp uniform.
He's like, the safe word is stingy.
The safe word is anus, but only if you pronounce it like that.
Oh,
It's why I named my characters so funny.
I was gonna say eventually we have to get like an AI voice generation of George R. R. Martin and just have him on the podcast.
Just do a fake interview with George R. R. Martin. So, George, what size is your GIMP mask? Well, you know, I'm a little bit of a heavy guy. I wear a double XL. Oh, interesting. Now, how does that influence your writing process? Well, I think that it just really kind of gets the creative juices flowing. You know, it just gets me in the right headspace.
When Theon turned to Reek, it was very, like, self-explanatory. It was kind of like my self-insert.
You know, I was thinking about projecting characters that the audience can relate to, but I said, what about a character I can relate to? So I wrote in Theon's character arc, and it really spoke to me as the writer, so I thought that was just a nice little thing for people with my personality type.
This is making me literally lolling.
I'm literally lolling. Shout out to that guy.
We love you, that guy.
Shout out, guy. I forget your username. I'm hoping you're literally lolling at these ones too, this video too. Dude, he was the believers. He's the believer we're paying out right now. +2, +2
to that guy. Every lolly we get is a +2. So thank you. All right, moving on.
All right, chapter over. Damn, this is a meaty fucking chapter, by the way. 2 hours long of content.
A lot fucking happens.
Dude, honestly, when I was listening to this chapter, because I gave this chapter a listen through a couple fucking times. Bro, I know it was a long time ago when I like recorded and did this chapter, but even like re-listening to it, there's like so much to digest. Like just so much happens. It's such an action-packed chapter because right after the High Septim dies, well then Aegon, who has essentially been removed of the line of succession, and could you imagine, you're brought up your whole life thinking that you're going to be king, and then your uncle comes in and takes it from you. I could definitely understand wanting to, you know, go ahead and like assert yourself as the king, but everyone sees Maegor's power levels and is like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of like, Aegon, sorry, bro. Not gonna happen.
They're just like, you can do it, champ. And it's like, place all the money on Meagor. Double down the bet on Meagor.
You know, all the Northerners are just like, winter is coming. Holy fuck, it's coming.
Yeah, right. I think it's so funny that like all this shit is happening in the South, and like the Starks are just like, oh god, it's cold outside.
Yeah, and the Dornish are just like, holy fuck, dude, it's hot outside.
Jeez, it's hot. As long as we're on the topic of being cold, sorry this is coming out late. I was sick as shit this weekend. Carter can attest to that. I had the winter fever, bro. I had the shivers.
That's true. He was feeling a little dookie.
Dude, I shit myself. I almost shit myself and died like Aenys.
Damn, how cruel of a fate that would be.
I was literally like, you know you're sick when you're literally just like rolling around going like,
Yeah. I hate being sick, man. Not fun.
Dude, quick side tangent. I had to go to the hospital to get like stitches one time. And it was just in the waiting room. I was there for like 2 or 3 hours. And in the waiting room, there was just this guy who was like laying on the floor just going, oh! And then he'd wait a couple seconds and he'd go, oh!
Oh, fuck.
It was so just moaning repeatedly, and I was like, at least I don't have what that guy has.
Oh man, that's too fucking good.
God, if that's what the winter fever was like, wow. R.I.P.
Yeah,
bro.
I just choose death.
Westeros has some pretty metal diseases. We'll be getting that into the later chapters, but good God, calm down.
There's a lot.
Modern medicine rules, dude.
Wildfire also rules to cure them.
Wildfire?
Yeah, fucking in season 2 Game of Thrones, they use wildfire, the Blackwater Bay battle, where they blow up all the shit.
Oh yeah, that's sick as shit. So cool.
Anyways,
anyway, I was just wildly on. It's like, yeah, man, like that one scene from season 2 was like pretty good.
So Aegon,
Yeah, that's just what we have that's what the podcast is gonna be. Yeah, I mean, like that one episode with the horses. Yeah, that was like sick.
that was awesome.
That was awesome. So Aegon goes to confront Maegor, and he's got like 15 guys, and then Maegor flies in on the biggest, meanest, evilest looking dragon in Westeros, and just bodies Aegon.
It's not even like a chore. It's so easy. Like
it's the equivalent of like just a regular guy fighting like an NFL lineman who's like 6'7" and like 400 pounds and just crushes him like immediately.
Yeah, no, it's brutal what happens to poor Aegon. Doesn't he get chomped up?
Yeah, he gets straight
Ugh.
eat.
Yeah, not a good way to go.
Yeah, it would also be pretty goddamn disheartening if like your guy with the dragon, you just like see him falling from the sky and you're like, well, we put in a good effort, boys.
Yeah, that'd be like instant routing in like Warhammer 3.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even do anything for them because following the battle, Maegor just puts everyone on trial and just goes to town executing people.
Is that one of the war crimes?
And then
can we put a tally up on war crime?
Well, he does give them a trial, but I'm pretty sure he does. Does he start torturing them yet? I don't even remember.
Sure.
He gets a lot of that later on.
I am like 80% sure that he gives them like the black, the men of the wall, or
yeah. So you can go to be a member of the Night's Watch
or be
die.
hung. I'm pretty sure he would hang people because he wouldn't. Oh wait, no, that was earlier in the chapter with the House of Aaron that betrayed.
Yeah, and he killed a couple of the people on this one himself, actually.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he decapitated them, right?
I mean, kind of sick. If you got to get decapitated by somebody,
Maegor.
right? Maegor the Cruel.
Yeah.
More like Maegor the Cool.
Yeah. That shit is really fucked. What happens to Aegon's wife again? Since they were on the road progress.
She actually just stays on Fair Isle, actually. I believe it's with the Farmans, and essentially she just waits for Maegor to come get her because he's gonna. And she's just like, well, here, I guess I'll just hang out here for a while. Yeah. That would suck so hard. You're just sitting there in the castle just like counting the days.
Yeah, because Balerian's so big, you'd hear that wing beat from like a mile away, and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah, it's time. But Viserys is made Hand of the King just so, moreover, as a way to just keep him close so he doesn't get any ideas about rebelling against Maegor. And this is also the time where Maegor actually does get his wife pregnant. Like, Alice does finally get a baby and then gives birth to a Progerian child.
Yeah, a literal, like, Harlequin baby.
Yeah, like, inside-out skin, like, monstrosity. And now we start the war crime counter tally. Get the little tick markers out because so Maegor sees that his child is like an abomination and then just immediately kills the doctor and like the midwife and the septa. He just instant kill, which isn't a war crime, but not a cool thing to do.
That's definitely a crime, but war crime. Yeah, we'll give that one a pass.
I guess crimes against humanity, but the sauce doesn't end there because this is where we start getting into freaking like soap opera territory, because the miscarriage child is not even Alice's child, but instead it is the child of a suitor that one of Alice's fathers, or if Alice's father got for her. So essentially what happened was Alice's father believed that Maegor was infertile, and obviously with Maegor having the reputation that he does, he's assuming that if she doesn't give him a child, that Alice is just going to get killed by Maegor, or some horrible thing's going to happen to her. So her father sets her up with like 20 guys, which is just super unfortunate for everybody involved.
Damn, being a woman back in the day sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, it's great.
Clearly. Anyways, continue.
So this is where Maegor is just like, time to start torturing and bloodline elimination. And he essentially goes and kills not only Alice Haraway and her father, but every single person who is of the Haraway line. He systematically goes and genocides them. So now we have torture and genocide, along with use of napalm, so prohibited weapons, to add to Maegor's war crime list. So we're racking up some points over here.
If you had torture and kill his wife on your bingo card, now's the time to mark it down.
Imagining like the Family Feud music.
Anyways.
Let me just consult my notes right here really quick.
And then some shit happens and like some other shit.
Yeah, bro, the author literally talks about how Tiana tortures Alice to death, and Maester Gildian is literally just like, but some things are left best unrecorded.
Yeah.
Because of how bad it was, so...
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's Alice had a bad run of it. Not a lucky woman.
Yeah. What do you think happened down there? What kind of twisted magic?
Oh, I'm sure it was like some kind of awful horror, like science fiction-esque, like keeping somebody alive for like longer than they naturally should. But the Haraways were the people who were inhabiting Harrenhal up to this point, so now that Maegor has essentially purged them, there's this huge big castle that has a vacancy, but understandably, Maegor is just kind of irked and doesn't have the time to deal with anybody, so he just says, whatever, you guys fight each other, and whoever wins gets the fucking castle. So there's this big melee, and the Harrenhal gets to go to the winner. But with that taken care of, now Visenya dies just from old age and just being an old hag.
Old bitch disease.
Old bitch disease. Visenya dies from old bitch disease. And then Alice and her kids run away because they also don't want to catch old bitch disease. So they leave. And this is kind of where the public PR for Maegor starts going down as the, we like to talk about, for any statisticians out there, the inverse relationship between the war crimes and the public relations for Maegor. This is where you start to see that trend start to take place, because so Rhaena flees with her children, and because of that, he just tortures Viserys to death. So more cool guy stuff. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. So he doesn't figure out where Rhaena is from torturing and killing Viserys, and frankly, he doesn't even care. He literally says, if he doesn't, which one of the most, like, edgelord quotes ever, where, because one of the people who he tells to torture Viserys, he says, Viserys might not even know where she went. And then Maegor goes, well, let him die. Maybe the bitch will come to his funeral. Like, damn, bro.
Fucking cigarette in his fucking mouth. It's aviators.
Yeah, bro, I also like heavy metal, but like, chill. Yeah, we get it. Cannibal Corpse is your favorite band. Calm down. Maegor is just angry. But the Red Keep is finished, and this is probably one of my favorite things that Maegor does, just because it's kind of funny. So the Red Keep gets finished. And to celebrate, all the workers that were working on the Red Keep, which, is the place where a lot of the actual Game of Thrones show takes place in, he gives them a feast of, like, food, women, drinking, everything they want for, like, 3 days. And then he comes in and has them all executed so that no one can know the Red Keep secrets.
It's great. I love that. Maegor is such an asshole that he murders his workforce.
And then he's all like, well, why doesn't anybody want to help build the dragon pit? I don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah. Have I done anything to make them not want to?
You literally killed all the fucking stonemasons, Maegor. What an ass. But, like, he's kind of, I don't know, what do you think? Is he kind of justified in that decision? Because, like...
Fuck no.
Yeah. No, you don't think so? He gave them all the women and food.
No, bro. Listen. If somebody threw a sick 3-day party for me and the boys and then killed me afterwards, I'd be upset. Wouldn't that be funny if he like got like if like the party he threw just like sucked?
Oh, it was just like an
Like, it was
awful
really,
party. Like no one talked to each other.
Or just like not even like socially, but just like he was like a bad host, like really mediocre like food and drink. Like it was all like discount, awful, and not even like the good discount stuff.
Like, he has like a platter of like the fucking Totino's pizza slices that are just, like, wet cardboard.
He's got them all on like shitty paper plates. Like
he's like, this is your payment, guys. Eat up.
a little bit of confusion with the how Cersei died too, right? His original wife. So Cersei dies, and people basically say that Maegor had her killed because she was talking smack, and he wanted to have her he wanted to have her tongue removed. So he goes and has one of his Kingsguard to cut out her tongue, but his hand slips and he slashes her throat instead. But a lot of people think that these were just bad PR drummed up by people after the fact.
Yeah.
But in any case, Maegor takes the Sept of Remembrance, which is the chapel that he torched to destroy the warrior sons, and he decides that he's going to now make what is going to be the dragon pit from the ruins of that. And with that, he also now looks to take a new queen, because now that Cersei is dead, the only queen that he has left is Tiana.
Doesn't he get 2 wives or 3?
He gets 3.
Yeah, Tiana.
So he goes to have a triple wedding, which would give him 4 wives, so he's getting after it. The women he goes to marry are Rhaena, who has been on Fair Isle to this point, and this was after Rhaena tried to hide Arya and Rhaelia. She dyed their hair, she cut their hair as well, and then sent them off without her even knowing where they went. But when Maegor comes to get her, for the wedding, it's found out that the Mistress of Whispers found them anyways. So he goes to marry Rhaena, Jaen, and Eleanor, and another cool guy thing, he is responsible for the death of all of their husbands. Rhaena was married to Aegon, who was his nephew, who he murdered on Dragonback. I believe it was either Jaen or Eleanor, or both. He literally just, like, basically drummed up false charges for their husbands and killed them.
You're mine now, Shank.
Yeah, basically. So, more cool guy shit from Maegor. Couldn't have just picked somebody else, but then proceeds to have more weird squiggly worm children. I thought it was particularly funny, the worm hermaphrodite child.
That one was really like, ugh. Whenever the like progeria child is like brought up in this chapter, I always think of like the I don't know if you ever seen it, but Silent Hills, the playable trailer. There's like a dark leathery baby that has no eyes and like stick limbs, and it has like a gaping mouth, and it just sounds like a baby. That's what I think is like Maegor's like seed. Because his seed has worms.
The Bat Child is pretty cool, though. The one that has wings. Yeah. Unfortunately, he does not get some cool-ass demon child, but it's just another miscarriage. And essentially at this point, not a lot of people are a big fan of Maegor.
Don't know why. He seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything he's done that's would give him the surname Maegor the Cruel or nothing. Really just seems undeserved.
Yeah, I mean, he's just guy bossing, so.
Guy bossing. Maegor is 100% on the Sigma grind set through the whole chapter.
Yeah, he saw the movie Drive and was like, I want to be like that guy, and then became not that guy.
Just Maegor the Cruel in the fucking Drive jacket with a big scorpion on the back. Just, I don't take orders from no one.
What do you do, Maegor? I ride.
With the horrific PR that Maegor has at this point, because his outrageous assholery since he became king, everyone basically just fucking hates Maegor at this point. So almost all of the realm that was initially like very pro Maegor when they were at the brink of war is kind of coming around to being pretty anti-Maegor and rallying against him, and even to the point where the remaining dragons are rallied against him, and even though he has Balerion, he has more dragons opposing him than on his side. And when he's in his war council debating on what they should do, it's bad enough to the point where one of his commanders suggests that he just surrenders, to which his commander has his head promptly removed. But in all this planning, Maegor and his generals plan throughout the night to how to deal with this rebellion, but it's found in the morning that, seated on the Iron Throne, Maegor died from the very blades that made up the Iron Throne. So
such a cool description.
There's a big controversy as to how he died, because nobody really was there when it happened. They don't think it's the actual knights who were standing guard, because they didn't, leave their post, and the last person who saw Maegor, he was alive when that happened. So some people say it was even the magic, the Iron Throne, who's keeping him alive, or murdered him.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So obviously Tiana is dead, so there's no way it could be her, right? Because he had...
Is Tiana dead at this point?
Oh yeah, dude.
She had her
heart ripped out by Maegor like a Kano from Mortal Kombat, and fed it to his dog.
Yeah, because he found out she was poisoning his nut.
So
she was injecting ketamine into his balls every night so he couldn't come.
Putting old bitch disease in his nuts.
Putting old bitch disease. I cast old bitch.
No. So yeah, what do you think happened? Do you think it was just some weird malign magic that just fate decided that Maegor should die that night, or do you think someone done him in?
I think he went, it's not fair, and he kicked his legs and he slammed his hands on the chair and he died.
God, could you imagine if he slipped on his cape and just slapstick humor kills himself on the Iron Throne?
He Family Guy falls down this absurdly long flight of steps and just lands and dies.
Fuck it.
It takes him 30 full seconds to fall down the stairs.
Yeah, I'm headcanoning the 30-second long bah bah bah.
Maybe he was practicing his gymnastics routine, doing backflips on the Iron Throne.
On the Iron Throne. I gotta keep the core ready.
And he was doing backflips on the Iron Throne of Westeros. Fuck, goddamn it!
No, I originally had a game theory that, both of his wrists were cut and a sword was jabbed through the back of his neck, right? Through his mouth.
So what you're saying is he listened to My Chemical Romance and he cut his wrists.
100%.
Interesting.
No, my stupid theory was, so we had 3 miscarriages, right? Fucking 3 strikes, you're out. Maybe it was Tiana.
3 strikes, you're out.
Maybe hear me out. Maybe Tiana put a curse on him.
God plays by baseball rules.
The 7 plays by baseball rules.
But it's the rule of 6, Carter.
No, but I think maybe...
What happened to the rule of 6? I get it, because there were 2 brothers, Maegor and Aenys. He divides the rule of 6, so it's the rule of 3. It all makes perfect sense.
Exactly. No.
But that's just a theory.
So I think that Tiana may have put a curse on Maegor from his seed, and the 3 children was kind of the seal on that curse. And once she died, that kind of activated the curse juices. And -2 Maegor, and he the Iron Throne came back and killed him in some weird magic way.
That's honestly not a bad idea. I never thought that Tiana would have put some kind of seal on herself, that so when she dies Maegor would die. But I really like that idea. That's pretty clever. But also, one of the things that you notice happening a lot in the Game of Thrones franchise is it definitely seems that at least a lot of stuff is framed as the gods punishing things that go against them.
Oh yeah.
So who knows? It could have been Tiana and having some kind of spell put on him, or it could have just been just all the, I guess, because obviously magic is real in Game of Thrones. There's just the fact that if you use too much magic, especially for the wrong purposes, it might start to kind of curse you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Almost. It's hard to say. I like the whole Tiana idea though.
Yeah. So really, who's to say what happened to him? Did he slip on his cape and 30-second fall down the stairs onto the Iron Throne to die? Or was it a curse? I guess we'll never know.
And I guess we'll never know. Thanks for watching, everybody.
But that's just a theory. A Westeros theory. Thanks for watching.
Do you think George R.R. Martin watches game theory?
Oh, 100% he watches game theory. While he's in his gimp outfit.
Damn, bro. I just like to imagine George just watching cringe compilations on YouTube.
I like to imagine George watches Northern Lion on YouTube.
Oh yeah, every day. All right, I think do we wrap it up there? Do we? What's
Well, we gotta discuss, right? Is Maegor a good king or not?
is Meagor? Like, damn, you're right though. So like, I think my money is an overall no, because what is that a hot take?
No, I don't think so. Just keep going. I'll give my opinion.
I think overall, no. I mean, like, he's not a good king. I feel like, given the situation at the start of his rule, a lot of the things he did were fairly justifiable, especially from, like, a kind of guy like that. Because Westeros is a very newly established thing. The kingdom as a whole, because Aegon literally just conquered it, like, not that many years ago. So, it's understandable that once Aegon dies, there's going to be all these rebellions that are going to crop up. And given that Aenys was such a weenie, that overwhelming force response was necessary, and that's basically what he did. He came in and just started fucking shit up. I think that's pretty reasonable. But the problem with that is his management of... That's great for when your kingdom is at war and you need somebody who's good at war, but when you need to manage your kingdom afterwards, it was pretty plain that all he kind of gave a shit about was continuing the line, which is important, but if he really cared about, like, the good of Westeros, he would have just, like, tried to have a kid, and then let like his brother's kids' descendants take the throne if he didn't, you know? Like, and we don't hear a lot about his actual policies on, like, stuff, but just generally from how he, like, dealt with issues, the answer was always just, they did something, kill them. Which,
Yeah.
I feel like you need a little bit more nuance to, like, function a kingdom properly than just chop their head off and torture them to death.
Yeah.
You all right there, dude?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, are you?
Yeah, that was kind of the end of my thought. I thought you were gonna go. You were holding your fucking.
I was just waiting for the. And what do you think?
And what do you think about that, Carter?
Fucking. Anyways.
You know, like, I had all this time. The moment is now. It's so big. It's more than I can handle.
So obviously, if you're like a noble or, you know, a king in Westeros, you're kind of in the sights of Maegor. So, like, obviously, you're not going to think he's a great king because, you know, you heard about him, like, stealing wives and shit. And you're like, shit, man, that could be me next. But if you're just like a general peasant working in the fields, it kind of might be all right. So, like, I think if you're a peasant, it might have just been, well, you know, another day in Westeros, am I right, fellas? Versus the nobles versus, like, oh, shit. Oh, this is, like, actually something I gotta kind of worry about, you know? Maegor, like, someone pointed it out, and I think a comment, he brought it up, like, Maegor just does, like, the thing any other king does in the Targaryen, like, line, really.
But better.
But better, yeah. He does it cooler.
I think the problem with Maegor, though, is, like I was saying, he's very one-dimensional with dealing with his problems, and he is not nuanced in the way he approaches things. And not only does that drum him up a lot of bad PR, but also, like, if you look at the long-term functioning, like, just murdering everybody is not a good idea.
Obviously.
Obviously. And, like, yeah... If you're just the small folk, you might just be like, shit, man, just like another day in Westeros.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, man, you know, it's just another day in Westeros.
That doesn't, just because he's not actively, like, murdering every small folk doesn't make him great. Like, it's not...
I'm not saying that, like, oh, he's not fucking with me, he must be the best king ever. But, like, you at least kind of have that load off your shoulders, you know what I mean?
But, like, who knows? With the reputation he has, you're like, well, the king could just come in here and kill all of us at any moment.
Yeah.
It's always kind of looming over you.
Yeah, the killing of husbands and taking their wives, not that cool.
What are you talking about? That's not the coolest shit.
It's not that great. Killing Aegon, though, on Balerion is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, dude, killing your nephew, it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Sorry, nephews out there.
Yeah, sorry about the killing of nephew.
If you're a nephew, R.I.P. dude, R.I.P.
You were sorry.
Get owned, nephews, get owned.
-2.
Nephews get owned.
Yeah, his like you were saying, his way of handling things is just chopping heads off. Not exactly the most greatest long-term plan.
We're
for your
just
kingdom.
gonna kill him.
Yeah. How do you think Maegor would have handled a war with Dorne?
Nuke them more.
Probably. Yeah, you're right.
He doesn't exactly have the most fucking nuanced. I don't know. Let me flip through the book really quick, see if I can figure this one out. The Giga riddle right now. How does he deal with that?
leave your theory in the comments, people.
Does he A, kill them, B, kill them, or C, really, really kill them?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with C. But overall, I don't think he's that good of a king, to be honest. Just because of all the fucked up shit he does. I'm not saying that any king kind of gets away with like fucked up shit and is justified for it. But this one's kind of just like irredeemable no matter how you pick it.
The thing is, he starts doing fucked up shit when he doesn't have to. Like, not to say that it's not all justified to a degree, and like there was definitely people who like wronged him. I can get being upset that your wife let 20 guys blast her.
Yeah, that would kind of be like...
That would be a big feel. Like, that's just a horrible situation all the way around. So, like, L's.
Yeah, fucking,
I think if you just, like, wonton torture people for, like, everything, just because you can't, because your nut is bad, you got spoiled milk in your balls. Like I said, runs the war campaign great, but, probably makes a better general than a king, you know?
Yeah, and King Aenys, when, like, when it really came down to the wire, he didn't really know how to make a decision. Very indecisive.
Oh, I don't think Aenys was a good leader either. He was too indecisive. Yeah. Like, he was a bad leader in the opposite direction. Like, Maegor would at least respond with, like, swift action, but it was, like, the same thing every single time. Yeah. Like, Maegor has a distinctive inability to not brute force every issue. And I think definitely if he stayed king for longer, that would show long-term with effects on the kingdom. After Maegor... we do get Jaehaerys and Alysanne's arc, which is a really, really good long one, and they're really good.
The beginning of an era. This is a good one.
Leader. A lot of spiciness in the chapters to come.
A lot of shit goes down, yeah. A lot of stuff.
It gets crazy. Some of my favorite chapters in the book are actually in the Jaehaerys and Alysanne story arc.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait for those roads.
Dude, the roads, his Minecraft roads.
Yeah, roads. But yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a good one. Stay tuned.
That we'll be getting into the next episode. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Maegor did nothing wrong.
Dragons are fake.
And dragons are fake. Maegor did nothing wrong. War crimes are cool.
Come back for our next hot take.
Come back for our next talk take. Yeah, do the subscribees. Watch out for the next episode, and we'll talk to you guys later.